Hey guys, now we're on Unit 4, Mass Media and its Impact. We're going to look at mass media forms like radio, television, film industry, and we're going to talk about the history and the impact of these mediums. So we're throughout Unit 4, we're talking about television, music and radio, film, news, books and magazines, advertising, and the internet. And we're going to start off talking about television. Okay, this is Unit 4, Section 1, television. So, essential bits of information here. Everything on TV is constructed to keep us watching. It goes to commercial break. You don't want to, it leaves you hanging. So you want to see what's coming next. So you hang on and watch commercials and then see what comes next. Heavy view on a TV can distort one's view of the world. We start thinking in terms of how TV portrays it to you, and you think of the world that way. TV's function is to deliver viewers to specific advertisers. So it depends on what kind of program you watch. Kid shows advertisements to kids. Daytime television shows advertisements to older people or people looking for jobs. Prime time is more a wide array of advertising. Most channels are owned by a small number of huge media corporations. Six companies own everything. Just like we talked about Unit 1. So, a brief history of television. So in 1928, the first American television drama, The Queen's Messenger, was broadcasted by W2XB. That was the very first television drama ever produced. It was in 1928. Television, hasn't been around too long, but longer than you might think. 1935, an all-electronic television service began broadcasting in Berlin. And 1936, the Berlin Summer Olympics were broadcasted live for the first time. Broadcast live in Berlin and Hamburg, Germany. So, they had live broadcasts, and then these broadcasts were then sent out throughout the world. Of course, they uh, showed only what the Führer wanted them to show, and so they focused on the German athletes a lot. 1936, the BBC began. British Broadcasting Company, one of the biggest broadcast corporations in the world today, began in 1936. This is the birthplace of modern television with the BBC in London. In 1939, FDR opened the World's Fair. That is broadcasted live in America, W2XBS in 1939. So, and then 1941, W2XBS became WNBT, which is now WNBC. Channel 4 in New York City became the first television station in America. So essentially, NBC was the first television station in America. And WCBW, CBS, began broadcasting in 1941 later on. So NBC was the first, CBS was number 2. And different stations had different call signs depending on where you live. So if you're east of the Mississippi River, your station's going to begin with a W. If you're west of the Mississippi, you're going to start with a K, like KMXB, Kansas City, right? And so those are radio, started in radio, then transition into television. So you'll see those call signs, uh, you know, KJO 105. That's K because it's west of the Mississippi. So 1948, 4 networks, NBC, CBS, ABC, and Dumont, begins broadcasting over 128 stations nationwide because the first full primetime schedule. Primetime is 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern or 7 to 10 p.m. Central Time. That is considered prime time when most people are home watching television during that time. So advertising's more expensive. All your best programming is on during that time because that's when people are home after work, after school, in their daily activities in their home watching television. So most early 48 to 1960s called the golden age of televisions. And these are shows like Ozzie and Harriet, Father Knows Best, Dragnet, Gunsmoke. Some very famous early television shows. 1951 television production moved from New York to LA, where it still is today for the most part. And I Love Lucy on CBS from 1951 to 58 was the first major show filmed in LA and began to shift towards the West Coast and became one of the most famous sitcoms ever created, still shown today in specials on CBS. So I Love Lucy started the major shift from New York to Hollywood. And that was in 1951. And so types of programming. 30-minute sitcom. Example: The Big Bang Theory, Modern Family, Friends, Seinfeld, I Love Lucy. These are shows that usually lighthearted comedy, family oriented, wrap up a story in 30 minutes. Uh, and so Big Bang Theory, of course, was the all-time ratings getter. Just ended this past year. One of the most popular shows of all time, the most popular and recognizable sitcoms. And the other type of television, we have 1 hour drama. It's like your Dragnet, Hawaii Five O, NCIS, Doctor Who, The Flash. Yeah, shows like reality shows like Teen Mom, Survivor, Bachelorette, Bachelor, Real World, Big Brother. Right? And so those are your 1 hour dramas. And competition shows, you have like American Ninja Warrior, you have The Voice, America's Got Talent, American Idol. These are your competition shows. You see people competing for a prize, usually like $1 million or something. Or like game shows like Let's Make a Deal. News programming, evening news, 60 Minutes, 2020. Right, children's shows that you see like on Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network. Sports, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, NFL, MLB, NBA, NCAA. These are all those different types of programming that you see. And each type of programming is designed to advertise to a certain audience. Okay, you see certain kinds of advertisements depending on what show you're watching, because the advertisements are geared towards people who generally watch that type of program. Okay, and so those are all the different types of programs out there in the television land, right? Is it a reflection of society or does it shape society? You be the judge on that. So the roles of women have changed dramatically over the years, from a housewife to Leave It to Beaver, who's at home, taking care of the family, taking care of the house. Husband comes home, to someone like Leslie Knope, or the President of the United States on Supergirl. Women have become more and more prevalent uh, in the television and movie scene over the years, more dominant roles. And that's changed, reflects the change of society of women being more involved and having more executive positions and more equality and women's rights. And television eases society into acceptance of the new, whether it's women, workforce, same-sex marriage, society. You watch television and it portrays this stuff, and you see it as, oh, it's normal, it's okay. And so television kind of shapes and helps guide these new norms in society. And more shows add characters to reflect society, at the same time shape it, whether it's a character represents the LGBTQ community, whether it's an African American, Latino American, a white uh, American. You're going to add these characters to television shows to gain a different audience, right? Changing of the times. So time shifting is something newer in television, where we see what we want when we want to see it. It's led to a real revolution in television. It used to be appointment viewing, like, oh, the show's on at 7 o'clock. Is the only time I'm ever going to see the show. They may show a rerun in a few months, but I got to see it now, or I'm not going to see it. I'm going to miss it. But now you set your DVR, watch it on demand, watch it on Netflix, Hulu, binge watch it. Everything has changed. When you watch TV now, it's on your own time. And so things have definitely shifted over time. Networks used to run rerun episodes more frequently. Now, not very often. You have breaks in the middle of the season. They may show a few in the summertime. You can catch up, but usually during the season, they don't show many reruns because you can watch it anytime you want online or on TiVo or whatnot. And so the big three, CBS, NBC, and ABC, they began having competition with the VCR and cable in the 1970s, and now with the DVR today. In 81, MTV changed the game. I want my MTV. So MTV was specifically targeted to one demographic, and that demographic was teenagers. So a far cry from the be all, end all broadcast stations that try to get something for everyone. MTV was geared specifically for teenage viewers. So it changed the game. And the first video ever played on MTV, yes, MTV used to play music videos, was Video Killed the Radio Star. Video killed the radio star. That was the very first uh, kind of prophetic as you will, video ever played on MTV. So MTV changed the game that it started mattering what you looked like, not just how you sounded, like a radio star would, but what you look like, how you presented yourself. That is what the video star would be. So advertisers flocked to MTV because this knew that if I wanted a teenager to buy my product, I would advertise on MTV. And so this is called narrowcasting. And today it happens all over. You got like the Golf Channel, Travel Channel, History Channel, HGTV. Each of these channels are specifically designed for a niche audience. So advertisers are going to target that audience. This type of people, this demographic, age group, gender will watch this type of program more than anything else. And so it helps advertisers get more viewers. So television has become an individual experience. We have our shows on our channels. We watch when we want, what we want. We watch them on our phones, on our tablets, on our laptops, on our Chromebooks. Okay, we watch it whenever we want. We stream it, legally or illegally. Netflix, Hulu, Crackle. Right? There's only one event where everyone watches the same channel at the same time. There's only one event a year, and that is the Super Bowl. The NFL championship, the Super Bowl, that is watched worldwide by millions and millions of people every year. So advertisers for a 30-second ad will spend $5 million just run a 30-second ad because they know the whole world is watching. And they'll see the ad and more willing, hey, I might buy that product if they put a good ad out. So it's the only time everybody in the world sits around and watches television at once. Okay. Other than that, it's all on your own pretty much anymore. And what do most people talk about the day after? Not the game, but commercials. Did you see that commercial for this? See that commercial for that? You sit around and talk about the commercials and watch the commercials more than the game itself. So is money well spent that way? You decide. So the purpose of mass media is not to educate, inform, or entertain, and the purpose is to make some money for the stockholders. So most Americans, if you have cable, you have over 100 channels, but you basically only watch a few of them, and these 100 channels are actually owned not by 100 different companies, but by 6 companies. GE, Time Warner, Disney, News Corp, Viacom, CBS. The name sound familiar? Yeah, because they owned pretty much all media. So they own 70% of the channels on TV are owned by 6 companies. Like we said, Unit 1, these 6 companies own everything. Okay, CBS owns Viacom. Right, Disney owns ABC, NBC. Right, I mean, Disney owns ABC and ESPN. Excuse me, NBC. Right, they own A&E. Right? AMC owns a few channels. Time Warner owns HBO. They share CW with CBS. So all these stations, all these channels owned by 6 companies. Right? Center for Media Literacy core questions. Who created this message? What creative techniques are used to get my attention? How might different people understand this message differently from me? And what lifestyles, values, and points of view are represented in or omitted from the message? And why is this message being sent? These are all questions you need to analyze when watching TV. What are they trying to tell me? What are they trying to sell me? What are they trying to get me to think like? Then comes old reality TV. It's going to be more and more of this nowadays. Because reality TV is attractive because it's good ratings, but it's very cheap. You see a lot of this in the summertime. Because a scripted drama costs get the same ratings as a reality show, but it can be canceled because the costs outweigh the ratings. So, comparison: the final season of Friends, each cast member earned $1 million an episode. They also had to pay wardrobe, set directors, writers, etc. That's a lot of money to air a television show. Okay, if you're airing a reality show, yeah, people are like, I want to volunteer to be on TV. My 15 minutes of fame. Right? They'll go appear for free. You cost a host and a location. That's it. So your costs are way down, and your ratings can be just the same. And you're making all kinds of money. That's why reality shows are so uh, significant to these companies, these broadcast companies, because they make so much money off of them because they're very cheap to do compared to like a sitcom like Friends. Or you got the Celebrity Apprentice reality show with the Donald. An intellectual snob is someone who can listen to William Tell Overture and not think of the Lone Ranger. Dan Rather. Dun, 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 dun. William Tell Overture or the Lone Ranger song. Ratings, all about ratings. All right, ratings are the main benchmark a television program. One rating equals about 1 million viewers. Okay, Nielsen is a company that monitors these ratings. And the higher ratings, the more expensive the advertising is because more viewers are watching the television show. Okay, with less people actually watching commercials because of technology, advertisers have found ways to change their products as people are skipping through commercials or just not watching them at all. If you watch on Netflix or Hulu, you can don't see commercials. And so many companies use product placement. Okay, great commercial here about product placement. You see a celebrity drinking a certain like a Stranger Things 3 when we're talking about new Coke, and he's like, new Coke's so good. And Lucas is like, yeah, it's so good. And everybody's like, what? You can't do that, new Coke. Or 7-Eleven or Burger King, huge product placements all over that show and a lot of shows. Just place product in there in the hands of celebrities or people in television. People are like, I want to buy that because I want to be just like them. So this way, viewers cannot skip over the ads and see characters we love using these new interesting products. All right, so discussion questions for television. Got to analyze the number of ads within a media message. A lot of ads. Even if you don't watch commercials, you're still seeing ads. Okay, how are certain stereotypes portrayed on television? Whether it's the African American guy, girls, a uh, gay guy, straight guy, how they portrayed a jock, a nerd, how these people are portrayed on television. Moms, fathers. Evaluate reality shows. Which aspect of reality? How are they different? Do they actually show reality, or are they still kind of scripted? Okay, a lot of reality shows still are scripted. How are lives of teens portrayed on TV? Are they different or similar to yours? Do they want you to reach an ideal, like, oh, this is how I want my life? What can we learn about the history of watching old TV shows? Learn about history through time of the treatment of women and minorities and what's going on in the world. And how much does a typical TV commercial cost? And why are there different in ad costs? It's all things you need to find out. And so until next time, see you later.